In 2020, we made the huge decision to sell our home in the lower 48 and move north to Alaska to live a way of life free from the hustle and bustle of big city life. Join us here as we share our everyday adventures living free in Alaska. Well, good morning from the first full day of spring. Today is March 20th. It's starting to feel like spring, just a little. Doesn't look like spring, but feels like spring. Today, my goal is to film part of my sourdough journey. I'm going to plan to prep to do a loaf of bread because we're out of bread. So, first step that I have to do this morning is feed my starter. And then when it reaches its peak in about 5 hours, we will begin the process of day one of making artisan style bread. So, let's get going on feeding this starter. All right, so here is my starter jar. Yesterday when I fed it, this was the level that the starter was at, and it grows to about up in here throughout the day, and then it drops back down at the 24-hour mark. So what we're gonna do, it smells so good, is I am gonna grab my little spatula here. And this starter is just so nice and airy. But I'm gonna get rid of most of it, what is called discard. And I put my discard in a paper bowl. And then maybe I'll treat Gary with some pancakes this morning for breakfast. Woo! With the discard, which is nice. Even though I have to get rid of this, there's lots of different recipes you can make with your discard. I'm still experimenting and getting used to baking sourdough, so I haven't expanded my horizons very much, but I'm working on it. We have a YouTube friend. Her name is Dee. And she's been sharing with me a lot of great recipes and just encouraging me to get out of my comfort zone and just playing with my sourdough. All right, I have taken out quite a bit. I've done this enough now. I've been having my starter on the counter for, maybe 6 weeks now. So I'm getting pretty used to consistency, but I still use a scale just to make sure I get it right. And so what I'm gonna do is I should be at 400 grams. No, with this one, I'm sorry, 900 grams. I use 2 different containers for my starter, and I switch them back and forth so I can do a weekly clean maintenance on the glass. So with my discard, it's still 913 grams, so I need to just remove 13 grams. That's a pretty good pull. It's close. So I'm going to say that's pretty close. 902. Close enough for me. So next, I'm gonna add warm water. And for me, what I do is I just get my tap water really hot. Some people use a thermometer. I don't. That's the nice thing about sourdough. It's forgiving. When I first started this, I thought it was an exact science. Because usually with baking, it is an exact science. But I have found with sourdough, I can smidge a little. It'll be fine. So I'm adding 125 grams of warm water. And I am there. I went slightly over again. That's okay. And I'm measuring both with my lid and my jar because, well, that's where I know my measurements are at. So now I'm going to just push down the starter that's built up on the walls into the warm water. And stir it up into a milky consistency. Yes, Mr. Gary is still sick. Well, I was talking. So I just stir this up into a milky consistency. And I have learned if you really want to make your starter happy, which who doesn't want a happy starter? I put my lid back on. And I give it a good shake. You gotta make sure you have a jar that has a really good sealing mechanism. If not, you might have milky starter everywhere. But this really helps get it off the walls and kind of keep your jar clean. All right, so did that. Now I'm gonna remove my lid and wash it because it gets fairly goopy. Just a good rinse does it just fine. And now we're gonna add 125 grams of flour to my starter milk. Okay, stand by. This is the flour I like to use. It's wheat Montana. I get it at our local Three Bears or Costco. And it just, for me, seems to make really great bread. This is an unbleached all-purpose flour. So again, 125 grams. I do a 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1-to-1. So my starter is 125 grams, my water is 125, and my flour is 125. So now that I have my flour, I can put my scale away. It's done for now. And I grab my little bamboo stick and just mix it up. Spread it around. Make sure all that dry flour incorporates into the flour milk. Scrape down the walls. My starter, oh, it's really hard to see. My starter is done. Only takes about 5 minutes of time every morning. Sometimes I forget or I'm super busy. And oh, I also wipe off the edge of the starter. Just again, helps it keep it clean. Sometimes I don't always get to this right away, but it's forgiving. The only thing is, from the time I feed it, if I want to use it and bake with it, I've got to wait about 5 or 6 hours. So, because today I want to actually make bread, I wanted to make sure I got started earlier than later. I'm just putting this band so I can see where the starter level is. That's about close enough. And then I just put it on the counter, on a rag, so the cold counters, the cold in the counters doesn't transfer up into the starter. So that's how I do that. And now I've got to think about making some pancakes for Mr. Gary with my discard. So I'm going to work on that, and we will check in with you a little bit later. I had a failure in the kitchen today, so the chickens benefit. Yeah, my pancakes that turned into flatbread biscuits, not very good. So we're going to take them to the chickens. What, Sophie? You just went inside because you like to eat chicken poop. Yeah, you weirdo. As you can see, it is a beautiful spring day here in Alaska. Can't complain. It's 39 degrees. Sunshine. Everything's melting. And even the chickens are sunning themselves and getting a little dirt bath. Good girls. Hi, Rusty. I've got some num-nums for you. Okay, stand by. All right, here we go. Ladies and gent. Watch out, Rust. Enjoy some sourdough crumbles. Complete failure on my end, but bonus for you, ladies. So my pancakes this morning that I attempted, they were more of a doughy consistency, and I'm scratching on my head what I did wrong. So then I thought, oh, I'll make fry bread, which then turned into kind of like a biscuit, which that did work. Try to get it open here. I mean, it's great consistency for a biscuit. It just really had no flavor. So, giving it to the chickens. And as you can tell, they're enjoying it. Not everyone is outside, so I think they are in the nesting boxes. Checking the coop temp. It's 40 degrees in here, so pretty much, whoops. 40 degrees is pretty much ambient temperature, so they are doing nice and happy, and that means my heat lamp is not on. There's no need for it to be on at 40. In fact, I have it set for 25. At 25 degrees inside here on the she shed side of the coop is when it would turn on. Sophie, what are you freaking out about? Okay, let's see if we've got some eggs. Oh, hello. Hello, Miss Piggy. How you doing? Oh, thank you. So these are my wooden eggs. This was from Miss Piggy. This is one of my roadies that likes to bite. See? I've learned, put my sleeve, let the pecks get out of the way. And then, oh, yeah, we got 2 eggs. Ouch. 2 eggs. Oh, my coop's a mess. I can't wait. Spring project is clean this place up. Oh, look at all those eggs. Nice. That's wood. This is real. Wood, real, real, real. So this one is one of my Easter eggers. Hi, honey. And she lays a green egg. Hi, sweetheart. What you got for me? You haven't laid yet. So, my gray ones I know lay green eggs. So, this is one of my Easter eggers' eggs. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've been averaging 10 to 12, so we still, it's midday, it's only 2 o'clock, so we still have more time for them to leave me some butt nuggets. But yeah, I guess it is time now to go in and check in on our starter and start that process. Fresh bread, I can already smell it. And hopefully we have a better success rate than this morning's pancake attempt. What are you doing on this side of the coop, huh? You need to go outside. I gotta shut the door. You need to go outside. I've got to shut the door. Yay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right. It is now 2 p.m. I fed my starter 5 hours ago. So let's check in and see where that's at. All right. There it is. So this shows right here. That's where the level was this morning when I fed it. And it is already grown to about right here. So it's definitely more than doubled. And let's take a look from the top side. Oh, look at that beautiful sourdough goodness. Now this is my favorite part. Watch this. That, my friends, is beautiful, active sourdough starter. Or is what they call leveling. All right, I am gonna start getting ready to prepare to make bread. All right, welcome back to my kitchen. Normally I proclaim the kitchen Gary's domain, but with my sourdough, I have been in here a little bit more than normal. So today we are gonna be day 1 of making a loaf of bread, and it's just 3 simple, no, I take that back, 4 ingredients. I have my sourdough starter, salt, flour, and water. I have everything already portioned out except my starter, so I'm going to just quickly start that. For 1 loaf of bread, I need 90 grams. Oh, that starter just looks so good. Earlier when I showed you, I punctured it down and it's already come back up. So it is a happy starter. What I'm gonna do, make this easy, I'm gonna put my bowl on my scale. This bowl is my daddy's bowl. This bowl is actually older than I am, over 50 years old. And I have to thank my mom. Somehow she got her hands on it. My parents divorced when I was 8, but somehow she got a hold of my dad's bowl, and when we moved here to Alaska, she gave it to me. So I have so many memories of my dad cooking bread. That was one of his passions, and I don't know. Something triggers inside when I'm baking with his bowl. It's been a lot of fun. All right, I don't want to cry, so I'm gonna stop now. I've tared out the scale, so it's telling me it's at 0 grams. So it's really easy. I'm gonna just pour until I have 90 grams of sourdough starter in the bowl. Look at that, beautiful. Oh, so pretty. All right, perfect. Put it back on its little tea towel. Now I'm going to take the majority of this water and incorporate it with my starter. And I'm just gonna save just a splash to help incorporate my salt once I do that. So this is my Danish whisk, and I'm just gonna mix up my starter with the warm water and get it completely incorporated into a flour milk. I don't know the true term of what that's called, but that's what I call it. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it just looks like milk. So that's perfect. I can remove it off the scale now because, like I said, I did pre-measure all my ingredients. And next, what I'm gonna do is incorporate my flour. This is 500 grams of all-purpose unbleached flour. And I just used my Danish. And this Danish whisk, I have to say, I really like it. It can get really, well, it looks like I'm still gonna get my hands dirty, but it really helps with keeping your hands clean. But I may have just lied because this went really shaggy and I want to work it for about 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm going to get my hands wet because then it doesn't stick as much. Get this off the Danish whisk. Knead it and incorporate and get all that dry flour incorporated into into the dough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it sit. It's going to sit for an hour and just start to form. And then in an hour I'm going to incorporate the salt with a little bit of water I have left, and then we will start our folds. Another favorite little tool I have is this I don't even know what it's called, but it helps get the bread off of the sides of the bowl, the dough, and scrapes the flour and just kind of keeps the bowl a little cleaner. And then I just kind of use it to help form my dough ball. All right, it's hard to see, but ooh, the light. It's hard to tell. But that's my dough ball. And now we're gonna sit, and I use my friendly little girl in a box. Alexa, please set my timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
I'm gonna cover this with saran wrap and just set it to side, and we'll come back in 1 hour and give it some salt and start our first set of folds. Woohoo! Right into the sunlight. That's our neighbor JJ. So when we went ice fishing earlier this year, this was the plane that was right next to us where we were ice fishing. But I just called Bobby and she said, yeah, he's a little worried about keeping the plane on the lake, and he was gonna move it so it's kind of goes to a different part. And he may even go and put it over at Big Lake Airport today. So I'm gonna stay outside, see what he's doing, see if he does another flyby. But it is so cool. So many Alaskans have planes. I swear, I think more kids have pilot licenses here than anywhere else. I shouldn't say kids, just there are so many pilots in Alaska. And we know quite a few that have their pilot's license in planes. Unfortunately for Gary, I told him that's one thing he's not allowed to have. No, we know enough people. Okay, I think JJ has gone far enough away. He's probably headed over to Big Lake. So I'm gonna go back inside and we're gonna get back to getting on our sourdough. All right, well, that girl in the box that tells me my timer is up just spoke. It's been 1 hour that we've let our dough rest. And now we are gonna incorporate our 10 grams of salt with the little bit of water that I saved. And we are gonna form up our dough and do our first set of stretch and folds. So I'm gonna wet my hands. And again, just wetting your hands, it makes it so it's not as sticky. Okay, so I'm gonna sprinkle in my salt. Do about half. And I add a little water. And I just kind of move it around, get it incorporated, and add the other half. And you could do 7 to 10 grams-ish. I like salt in my life, why not? And I'm going to use my scraper because I've got some sticking to the bowl. And just kind of put it in on itself. There's so many ways out there that people do this. And you just gotta kind of find your own groove. And I'm gonna do 4 of these stretch and folds in the next 4 hours. Some people don't do as many, some people do 30 minutes. I do an hour between each. Let this kind of put it into a nice dough ball and let it sit. It's amazing how fun it is to play with dough. And there's my dough ball. So we're gonna let it sit there for an hour. We're gonna consider that our first stretch and fold. It didn't stretch and fold very well just because the way I mixed in the salt. But that's okay, I'm not worried. As we continue on over the next 4 hours, the dough is really going to conform and turn into a piece of art. So I'm excited. All right, we are good to go. It's a long, drawn out process, but it's oh so good in the end. As I always say on RVing to Alaska, you gotta pack your patience, and it's no different with bread. Or at least with sourdough. All right, so set timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
All right, we'll check back in 1 hour. Denise? Definitely feeling better. Bite, bite, bite.
Take that.
All right. Alexa told me it was time again. So this will be...
I don't know that.
This will be my second set of stretch and folds. The dough is looking very nice. Good structure. bouncing away from the bowl. Just do some nice stretches opposite of each other. Now I'm going to do a quarter turn. Just trying to, nice, look at that, nice and bouncy. And go from the other side. All right, and nice stretch. And just kind of form it back into another ball. And tell my lovely assistant for another hour timer.
1 hour, starting now.
And we'll come back for round 3. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Third fold about to commence. I do have to say, it's starting to bubble. That's the fermentation right here. There's a big bubble there. So that's a good sign. The dough is happy. Okay, so again, just reach in and up and pull. Kind of pull, 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 and then drop it over. Come around. Look at that beautiful dough. Flop it. Now a quarter turn. Do the same thing from the side. Oh, so beautiful. And one more. It's just building that tension. And there she is. So 1 more hour, we'll do one more final stretch and pull, and then we'll bulk ferment overnight. Miss Alexa, please set timer for 1 hour. Set timer for 1 hour.
1 hour, starting now.
I guess she didn't like the miss part. All right, one more time. I guess I need to think about dinner. I've been doing other things.
Dinner would be nice.
Shushing the audience back there. All right, we'll check in one more time in 1 hour. Do you get to go to the street? Are you excited? Yeah. Whenever Spirit gets a chance to go to the street, she'll take it. All right. And it's Wednesday night. That means garbage night. Come on, Soph. Oh, can't complain about this garbage night. Look at those beautiful colors. I think they're beating me. Wait up for me. So, you know, we call this mud season, and if you can tell, you can see Spirit's paw prints. Oh, we're already starting to see it on the hardwood floors. Look at her, she's so excited. I'm going to the road. Sophie, come here. Too far. Isn't that beautiful? This is our front yard. What you doing, Soph? Huh? Are you exploring someplace you don't get to go very often? And Miss Spirit, I know she's happy. Gotta smell all the smells, sniff all the sniffs. I know the neighbor, Wesley, he leaves his mark and they probably smell it. All right. Garbage is accomplished. Time to go back. This is the hard part. Come on. Yep, we gotta go back home. Oh wait, Mom, I gotta smell this berm. Come on, let's go back home. Good girl. Yes. My little bunny hop along. Yep, we're going home. No eagle in the tree today. Sophie just took off. I don't know. She knows I'm back here, but I've got one dog that went that way, another dog that went this way. But this dog is the one that needs supervision, so I got a book over there. Well, I found her. She's at the chicken coop. Come on, Soph. And big door. At least I only have to do this once a week. Look at her. She's just standing there. Right there. What are you doing, Mom? Why are you talking to the camera, Mom? Hi, children. Well, hello, ladies. Nice to see you. How'd you enjoy your sourdough today, huh? Was that pretty darn good? Yeah. Might as well go check for eggs. Oh yeah, we got some eggs. One there. Two over here. And there's the one that I was waiting on from the Easter egger. Did you finally decide to come join? Huh? Yep. Okay. Let's go back out. Whoops, slippy, slippy. And she's off. Alexa, stop timer. Perfect. All right. We are at the 4-hour mark. We had a great dinner, by the way. I went super easy. Macaroni and cheese and chili. Last night, Gary got a gourmet meal of halibut. So, anyway. All right. There it is. Look how pretty that is. All right. Last stretch and fold. And then it will sit all night and do its bubbly thing. Look how nice that is. Nice and elastic. Dancing dough, dancing dough. Looks like a baby. It's got legs. So I was thinking, I think I'm gonna do an inclusion, my first inclusion, and put in blueberries tomorrow. What do you guys think of that? I think that'll be fun. And just doing some folds. This is, I can't remember the method, but instead of stretching and folding, kind of let it just curl. And it's just providing more structure in that dough. All right, so we're all good. So now the fun part. Right now the dough ball is about to here on the bowl. We are gonna cover it with saran wrap. And I've learned last time I made bread, this is very important. Because if it's happy dough, it may try to escape the bowl. So I'm going to make sure this is nice and tight on the edges with no loose ends. And then I'm going to cover it with a towel. We have also put a hot pad underneath it just so there's no cold transfer from the counter to the bowl. However, the house today, it's currently 72 degrees inside. We stayed pretty warm. The sun was shining, a typical March day. House got up to, what, 75 today? And we actually had the slider door, actually it still is. It's open a crack. It's open about 6 inches. So the door's been open all day and we are still sitting at 72 degrees. I'm also gonna cover it just to kind of keep any warmth that may be in the dough. Just helps with heat transfer. And we won't check back in again until tomorrow morning. All right, I want to wish you guys all a wonderful night. And we will check back in tomorrow, day 2 of sourdough bread. Well, good morning. It is now Thursday around 10 a.m. I will admit we overslept. With Gary's cold, we didn't get much sleep last night and I just woke up and I'm like, oh my gosh, my bread. Again, sourdough is forgiving, but let's see how we did. I'm going to take this off. And oh my goodness, do you see that? Well, I guess I am glad I still put the saran wrap. Look at those fermentation bubbles. Could you imagine if I did this a double batch? I would definitely be overflowing. All right, let's take the plastic off. What beautiful bread. Oh, I broke that bubble. Beautiful. So as you can tell, it definitely grew overnight. It started from down here and it's truly up here at the top. So I'm just gonna clean off my surface here to prepare. Oh, and I got my fresh Alaskan blueberries. I picked myself up on the Denali Highway. I've decided to do an inclusion. This is the first time I've tried that. Hopefully it will be wonderful. I have found that working on just my countertop surface works the easiest. Bring out my trusty bag of flour. All right, here we go. Beautiful dough. Look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just stretching it out into a square. This is where I'm going to add in my blueberries. So now I'm going to begin shaping the dough into a ball. And just kind of press them in there. Alright, so we are going to fold over. I did that backwards. That's okay. That's okay. And now I'm just folding it inside. And the flour. I got blueberries popping out the side. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, I'm making a mess. Stay in. Stay in. Okay, now I need to prepare my banneton for a little rest in the refrigerator. Now some people put it in the fridge, some people go straight to the oven. I'm almost tempted to go straight to the oven. But we are going to let it rest a little bit in the fridge. Just a little flour so it doesn't stick to the banneton. Plus I've floured my banneton. Oh, I see. It's okay. As you can tell, we already have a blueberry mess. This might permanently stain my banneton, but I'm okay with that. And this is going to go in the fridge for several hours, and then we will bake later on this afternoon. All right? Well, I got a little ahead of myself. Whoops. I got excited, and then I got a little depressed. Sourdough, it's weird how it does that. So I've taken it out of the fridge and I flipped it over onto some parchment paper. And right now I'm just clearing off the excess flour. From this side it doesn't look too bad, but this side we've got some really runny blueberry juice, which okay, that's not bad. But I'm just gonna get the excess flour off and into the garbage. I have the oven preheating right now. And what I do is I start it off in the steam oven and I steam it for 20 minutes at 450 degrees inside a cast iron pan thing.
Dutch oven.
Dutch oven. Thank you, dear. And then once that 20-minute bake is done, I remove the lid and then I switch my steam oven into convection bake and bake for another 30 minutes. I still need to score this loaf so it can breathe and push out the moisture and the heat. And then, yeah, so I'll film that here in a minute. But yeah, I got ahead of myself and I flipped it out and I'm like, oh, I didn't tell them about it. So still don't know if this is going to turn out. It is an experiment, but that is the joys of baking. All right, now I'm just scoring the loaf. And this is just basically decoration. Well, it's more than just decoration. It provides a way for the loaf to release the moisture. And I'm just doing a very simple, let's see, I went that way. Very simple design. Someday I'll get really elaborate, but not today. I'm not feeling the best on this loaf, but that's okay. We tried. So my oven just told me that it is happy. It's nice and preheated. I also stuck my cast iron Dutch oven in there to heat it up. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put a little bit of rice on the bottom of the cast iron, the Dutch oven, so the bottom doesn't burn. And then I'm gonna stick this into the oven. I'll tell you, when you're filming all by yourself, trying to get the camera shot, not as easy as it looks. All right. All right, so here's a close-up of our loaf. All right, stick it in. 30 minutes with the lid on, and I do it with steam. Well, it's judgment time. This is the time I get nervous. Did it work? We're about to find out. Oh, I think we have a decent loaf. Look at that beautiful numminess. That actually turned out pretty decent. All right, so now it's gonna go back into the oven on convection bake for 30 more minutes. Switch it out of steam, set the timer, and we'll come back then. Well, the oven dinged. It is time. It smells fabulous. I smell the blueberries. All right, enough. Don't want it to burn. And there we have it. Oh joy, look at that. Look at that beautiful loaf. Perfect. Well, I don't know if it's perfect yet, but it looks pretty darn good. I wish the lighting was better. There, I just switched the white balance. But look at that beautiful loaf. I can be proud of that. Absolutely. I'll be honest, I did not think it'd turn out. Final test will be the taste. So right now we need to wait for it to cool off. I am gonna let it just, well, first of all, turn off the oven and let it cool off naturally in the oven with the door cracked. This just kind of helps the inside so it's not as gummy and gets more bready. I don't know the right term. That's just how I explain it. And then in about a half an hour, I'll take it out and put it on a rack to cool the rest of the way. And then in a couple hours, we'll cut her open and check out the crumb. All right, it is now time. I am going to cut into the loaf. I've got to reposition the camera because I'm just one girl. But yeah, let's see how this turned out. Alrighty. Magic. I'm going to cut with the ear. Oh, it's so soft. Okay, first look. I haven't even looked at it. Ready, set, go. Well, the crumb isn't perfect, but it's still got some great spring to it. It's still a little too warm to normally cut open, but I was curious. I wanted to try it. Sophie, you're not going to get any. But you can definitely tell stop. You can tell where the blueberries were, and it did some interesting things inside. I honestly didn't have enough folds to make the structure of the bread, and I think that's why this crumb is so tight, and maybe why you can see the one fold where the berries really were, but that's okay. It's a learning experience. Everything else that I did is how I normally do the bread, so you still can get an idea how I do my sourdough, and we'll do another loaf down the road. But I wanted to try something new. Now I have to go show my husband who's stuck to the couch so he can see. But blueberry sourdough bread, it's what's for dinner. Sourdough with butter. That's really good. The blueberries, it's kind of messy. The blueberry taste. So strong. But oh, so good. Okay, welcome to Gary's life.
This is a wonderful life. It sure is. This is an amazing looking piece of bread. That there's edible bread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
blueberries.
not perfect, but
Blueberries are good.
the blueberries take it to a different level.
Yep, oh look at that. I just pulled it apart a little bit. That's deliciousness.
All right.
Yep,
I'll take it. It was a win.
that's a good one. Thank you, babe.
Not perfect, but it was a win.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nope, good.
All right, there's my mess of a bread. Someone's really texting me. It was fun to do something new and just another step out of my comfort level. Next loaf, I'll probably do normal. But this was a fun experience, and I'm glad I got to bring you along. All right, well, that was a fun 2 days, and this should make a video here very shortly. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you are notified whenever we post again. And lastly, we hope that you will join us here next time on Living Free Alaska.